What's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, and my fighters? I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT. You don't know if I'm winking or I'm blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about The Walking Dead. I'm going to give you my review, recap, discussion of Season 10, Episode 14, Look at the Flowers. Obviously, spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead. Show, comics, spin-offs, movies, everything, spoiler warning. Well, Season 10, Episode 14 was interesting. I felt like it was an okay episode. It was like stuff happened, but what really happened in the episode? We'll talk about that and much more. But first, guys, before we get to it, please help us out and hit that subscribe button. We have a goal of 100,000 subscribers. We're rapidly approaching that goal, but we can't achieve it without your help. Hit the join button to become a valued member of our PT channel, Walking Dead family, and ring the bell to be notified when we post videos every day. Now, we got more backstory in the opening minutes about Carol and Negan and their deal. And it kind of pissed me off with Carol not really doing her end of the deal with Negan. And kind of Carol's story in this episode just really frustrated me. This was kind of cheesy. I understand what they were doing, and people don't understand, like, how is the head still moving? Well, the pike doesn't really get the brain, so they can still move and the head is still alive. And Carol and Negan, they had their deal, and Negan's like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And Carol's like, sorry, not sorry. You took too long. And I love Negan saying that several times, like, what's with you people? Like, it was just easy to do what he did. And what happened to his bat? He has it right there. He goes in, and he doesn't have it the rest of the episode. I'm not sure what happened to it. There was a lot of things I didn't understand about the episode, like the continuity of things and all the walkers and a bunch of things. It was more frustrating than anything. I enjoyed it, but I was like, what? Does that make sense? Why did that happen? What's going on here? Like, how did Daryl know that Negan was going to come back there? Did he talk to Lydia? We didn't see Lydia at all, so there was little things like, what? How did he know to do that? Just didn't make sense to me in some part. The mask, Daryl didn't really buy it, and that's true. I mean, he shouldn't really trust Negan, and I like the idea that Daryl doesn't like Negan. He never should like Negan. He has to tolerate him, and I believe that's the story arc from the comics, where it's Negan and Rick, and on the show, it'll be Negan and Daryl. It just makes sense. Now, the whole thing with Carol putting Alpha's head on the pike is stupid in my opinion. That lets them know that Alpha is gone. Now, they're probably doing it like, okay, look, you need to fold. Your Alpha is done. Your Alpha is gone. The Whisperers are nothing. But it just comes across as like a misstep, a poor strategic move. The fact that this guy is like, you're the new Alpha now to Beta. And Beta's like, what? Your Alpha is right there. Take your mask off. And this guy does it, right? I understand the Whisperers are supposed to be sheepish. And they're supposed to not really think on their own. But clearly the guy was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he was hesitant to do it. Because your gut instinct and your survival instinct should be like, hey, let's not get closer to this walker that's going to bite my face off. I don't care if it was our Alpha, but the whole thing came across as like, what are you doing here? And luckily, when this guy's getting bit, it was pretty funny, by the way. The other guy's like, see ya, I'm out of here. Later. And then I believe he comes back and they find Negan and Daryl. But this guy wanted to take this walker out, and Beta was like, nope. I was like, oh man. And how did they get all these burlap sacks all over the place, right? They just have a burlap sack warehouse right over there. And I know The Walking Dead is fictional, but so many things work out in this universe time after time after time. Now, what is up with this bar restaurant type of thing? Was this Beta's place? I mean, right here, this reminds me of the bar in season 2 where Rick kills those two guys and they talk about Nebraska. I know it's not the same thing, but I had a thing of it. And what's up with the axe in the guy's head? Is that foreshadowing? I don't know, but clearly these bodies were there for a long time, and it was one of those things where I just don't know the specifics of this. And you know what? I'm sure they're going to talk about it on Talking Dead. The Walking Dead loves to not talk about things on the show, and you have to watch Talking Dead to find out more about it. And Ryan Hurst is on Talking Dead, so I'm sure they'll talk about this is his man cave, and he had this before the apocalypse, and what was up with this? Those two eyes see one truth. And who wrote it? I'm not sure. And then we see the gun. So is the truth that we all die? It's inevitable? I don't know what to make of it, but it's clearly something for it. Now, Half Moon is Beta's stage name, or his artist name, or his band name, or whatever, but Half Moon. And it was interesting because that's what kind of happened to his face when Gamma or Mary ripped it off. And did anybody catch live in concert? And that's what he did and attracted the walkers. So it was pretty cool to have it. We got a little more of the backstory with it. We got his name. That's clearly Ryan Hurst right there as Bubba Beta. So we heard the record. It was the same song that was playing in Hilltop when Magna was reading a book and Yumiko came. That was clearly the same song. And Ryan Hurst, I believe, was actually singing on the record. And who has a record, by the way? I guess they still make records, but this is a digital world. Well, maybe the Walking Dead universe never got there. But we saw an iPod and digital music. But either way, it's a record, and people say records are better, the music's better, or the sound is better. But clearly, Beta is like, my people, this is your concert, come to me. And like a million walkers come. Would that many walkers still be around? And I have to say the Eugene talking to everybody thing really got me motivated for the future of the series, of the season with Stephanie and the Commonwealth. Even though we didn't meet Stephanie, it was a step in a direction that I like where it's going. Now clearly they were at this area still with these shacks or these sheds or these homes or whatever they want to call it. That's where they're holding up here. In the spoilers, it said they were at Hilltop. No, they were here. They were at Alexandria and here in the woods. But Jerry's goodbye with Ezekiel was nice. I mean, it was one of those moments where, again, not a lot happened, but some stuff happened. And I was like, man, where did this 45 minutes go? But Jerry's goodbye, you gotta love Jer Bear. That's for sure. But Ezekiel was sick. And when he was killing that walker, why was he out by himself? I mean, how did the walker bite the horse and the horse continue riding and they get to this spot here? And hopefully you remember this spot in a previous season. I'll talk about it in my Easter egg video, but we definitely saw this area used previously. But the Eugene, Yumiko, Ezekiel, taking a break and resting was definitely in the comics. It was definitely there. It was a different twist of who was actually involved. Well, my question is, the horse got bit. The horse didn't make a sound at all. When did the walker bite the horse? And how did the horse keep riding to wherever they went? See the flower right there? Look at the flowers, for sure. And it's kind of true. Ezekiel wasn't feeling well. He can't really breathe. Well, at least that's what it looked like to me. When he was swinging his sword around and he was trying to kill walkers, he was out of breath. But clearly, they got to a city. Did they go to the wrong place? We don't know what city they went to. I'll talk about that later in the video. But what city is this and what it's supposed to be? And yes, I know they filmed in Atlanta, but what's the city on the show? And to me, the best part was Negan in this episode. He has the best one-liners, he has his winning personality, and the fact that the Whisperers came and kneeled to him, and Negan's like, haha, what about that? How about that? And I wish they explored that more, but the fact that he acted like he was going to take out Daryl, I mean, come on. We knew that wasn't going to happen. Daryl can't die, especially this way, and I love the fact when he picked up the mask and was like, I'm going to take my time, because he's right. Why would Carol and Daryl just think it was easy to do what Negan did? It was pretty tough, and it had to be pretty tough. But Negan really made the episode for me. And if you think about this scene, if you look at it, watch it again, you see the three Whisperers here, and Daryl. And then Negan takes the shotgun, takes the one guy out, and stabs the other guy. And what happens to the other person? They just fall to the ground. Did they get away? Did they live? And it's like, hee! Anyone else see Michael Jackson here? He's like, smooth criminal. But watch it again. Seriously. Negan takes out the one person with the shotgun, stabs the other, and the person all the way back by the pikes or border just goes down. It was funny when Daryl was like, just untie me. And what if Negan was like, no, I don't want to untie you. You walk around like that. And I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but what city is this? And again, I know they filmed in Atlanta. I saw the filming pictures and the behind the scenes photos pictures. But is this supposed to be Pittsburgh? Is this Charleston, West Virginia? Did they get to a city by mistake? Did they go somewhere that they weren't supposed to go? Because they were supposed to meet in Charleston, West Virginia. Now these were clearly made by Princess. And for those who don't know, Princess is a wacky, kooky character. And no, she's not a villain. You don't have to worry about that. But what was this symbolic of? The Mad Hatter? Just the people around doing their normal lives. And the princess was in the city by herself. She's alone in the city. So that's why she did this. She's been alone in the city for years. And it's kind of like an I Am Legend type of thing where they put the mannequins out. But here she's using walkers. It was pretty funny. And I liked what she did. It was pretty interesting. And here, I don't know why I thought of Lori Grimes crashing the car in season 2. I know it has nothing to do with that. And Lori's been gone, but I'm not sure. Clearly the walkers are positioned like they're doing day-to-day stuff. And probably Princess has named them. So that's what was going on here. Ezekiel thought it was hilarious. Eugene's like, what's going on? Yumiko's like, we ain't got time for this. And what did you make of this walker? Well, Bones right here. I guess she was doing it for so long, and she was the person that was capturing walkers to bring back to the city in the cages. And then we see Princess, and she's like, oh, hey, what's going on? Very comic book-esque. The look, the feel, the personality is just like Princess in the comic. Now, we only saw her briefly in the episode, and so I don't know if it's going to be great for the show. But Yumiko, Eugene, and Ezekiel are like, who's this person? And they have to probably wonder, is this the person Eugene is supposed to meet? Because they don't know. They don't know who this character is. And we only saw Princess for a split second, but it's very comic book-esque. And to me, did anyone think she looks like Amanda Nunes from the UFC? Anyone? Anyone? Now let's talk about Carol. Now I understand Carol is in a weird mindset, but she goes to a cabin, a shack, a shed, just randomly, right? Or did she know it was there? Did she know the canoe or kayak was actually there? And she's projecting Alpha yelling at her. She's really a broken person, and I feel for Carol. But it was just so many things like, what are you doing up there? The roof collapses. I mean, you would have broken something here. The stuff fell right on you, and she was there all night. And did anyone pick up the season 1 reference when Alpha talked to Carol right here? Again, we'll talk about that in my Easter egg video. But Carol is stuck here for hours, and she's there. And then all of a sudden, she's like, and pushes herself out. And the walker, attracted by the noise, comes out by the water. You see the walker right there, crawling and crawling and crawling. And instead of going all the way around and coming through the big hole right here, they try to slip through the boards. And Carol's sitting there and talking with Alpha, and they're fighting. And she's like, well, just shut up already. And I like that about it. But clearly, the walker's crawling and crawling and crawling. And then it stands up and gets stuck and gets stuck. And the dramatic thing, you know, like walkers get stuck in trees. And the one time he got stuck in the tree, and then Carol killed it. And now the walker's stuck here. And it's like, oh man, just the drama, building it up. What's Carol going to do? Is she going to, die by this walker and basically commit suicide like she does in the comics? Nope. She takes the walker out. What she should do, she can't go out this way, right? But the whole look at the flowers thing, was she going to look at the flowers? Is she going to go out? But again, she doesn't even push stuff off her. She's like, makes this big grunting noise and just gets out and takes the walker out. And Alpha's like saying all this stuff to her. And then Carol has an epiphany moment. Like, I have to be there for everybody. And Daryl. And then, boop, gone. Alpha's gone. Okay. So she did that in a couple hours. And then Negan had to do this whole thing with Daryl because Carol couldn't go back with him. Carol, you could take Negan back and then leave on your own. But did you see the symbolism here? They're looking different ways. They're on opposing sides. They're on the same thing, but they're opposing each other. Carol goes back to Alexandria, a day later or hours later. Who's there to greet her? Daryl. Doesn't say anything. No dialogue. No nothing. He just opens the gate. Carol walks in. And you could see like they want to talk, but they don't. What are they going to say? And Daryl's there for Carol unconditionally. I think they're both there for each other. And you could see the symbolism there too. There's a dividing thing between them. And then Carol goes into Alexandria. And don't get me wrong. I love Carol, I love Daryl, but to me it was way too dramatic. And now we know that Beta takes out Alpha's head and skins her and replaces the skin on his mask to be Alpha's skin. Because we saw a picture from filming season episode 15 or 16 with Greg Nicotero, and we wondered what was up with Beta's mask. But now we know. So overall, I thought the episode was okay. It was decent. A lot of stuff left open. I'm sure it'll be answered on Talking Dead. And that's crazy that you rely on another show to answer stuff. What if you don't watch Talking Dead? You could be like, what? What happened there? What was up with Beta's place? Did he have that before? Was that his man cave? Was he going to perform there before the zombie apocalypse? I don't know. Either way, I enjoyed the episode. And I'm sure the haters are going to be like, why did you not like the episode? Why are you so hard on it? Either way, I enjoyed the episode and I love discussing it, breaking it down, and recapping it. But thank you guys for watching, and for those interested in my Zombie Apocalypse book series, check out the link in the description below. All these books are available now. If you like what we do here, help support the channel by picking up the book series. Hope you join the fight, and as always, tell them, Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys. Honestly, thank you.